Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome back to Sports Today. So, it's been a pretty crazy night. I mean, we had an IPL final that concluded about, let's say, 8, 9 hours back, and it was an IPL final that actually ended up lasting way longer than it should have because not only did it end up overshooting the first day, head into the reserve day, even after the reserve day, due to a lot of rain, you were unable to get a result early on. But the good thing is we did end up finally getting a result, even if it was in a rain-truncated game. Chennai Super Kings, in case you missed out on the big news, are now five-time IPL champions. And in the midst of all of the euphoria that was all the love, all the happiness, celebration, jubilation that was pouring out for, of course, the Chennai Super Kings team, you also had a lot of reactions coming in from the players, coaching staff, and whatnot. And it would be easy to miss out on a lot of those reactions, truth be told. So, in this edition of our morning wrap, in which we, of course, normally bring you news that you may have missed out on from the world of sport, today's episode, well, it's going to be dedicated exclusively to CSK's title win. And we're looking at some of the best reactions that came in from CSK players or their coaching staff and everyone else who was, of course, involved with the historic victory. Remember, CSK are now the only other team besides Mumbai Indians to have won the title 5 times. It's a massive, massive feat, one that cannot be ignored. And it also came about in a final that, of course, went down to the last ball because they needed 10 of 2. Jadeja smacks a 6 and a 4. It was wonderful stuff, really. So, without further ado, let's get in straight to the reactions that are or were coming in from, of course, the IPL final. And we're starting with what the losing captain had to say. So, Hardik Pandya yesterday was pretty magnanimous and gracious in defeat. And he did say that, it was credit to the CSK and this and that. But I think the best thing he said, first off, where he said that I'm very happy for Dhoni that he ended up winning the title. Destiny had this written for him. If I have to lose, I'd rather lose to him. Now, we all know for a fact that Dhoni and Pandya, they share a pretty good relationship. Pandya especially is almost reverent of Dhoni and tries to kind of ape his captaincy style as well. So it comes as no surprise that Pandya was this gracious and magnanimous in defeat. But he was, of course, on the losing side of things and had lost out in a rather close match. So that made it even better. But the CSK players, understandably, all of them, not just the players, but even members of the coaching staff, were very, very jubilant. So you had, of course, Devon Conway, who put in a man of the match level performance, really, because he ended up coming out with so much attacking intent that it absolutely blunted the Gujarat Titans bowling attack, which was a formidable bowling attack, really, because if you look at the top 3 in the purple cap race, well, all of them were Gujarat Titans bowlers. So you had Devon Conway, who of course won the man of the match, and he afterwards ended up terming it the greatest win of my career. He's saying it's an IPL final, it's a big knock, couldn't get much better than this. Conway is definitely one of those who flies a little under the radar when you're talking about great batsmen right now across formats. And Conway is definitely someone who is, one of those. He's shown it for New Zealand. He's shown it in the IPL as well. Someone who could very well be New Zealand's linchpin, really, when you're talking about their batting lineup at the top of the order. Someone who hopefully New Zealand cricket can get lots of service out of in the coming years. And not just New Zealand. If you're a CSK fan, you'd be hoping that your Maplai remains with the team for as long as is humanly possible for him. Also, another person who was a lot in the spotlight yesterday was Ambati Rayudu, because of course before the match he had announced he will, before the final, that is on Sunday, he had announced that the final will in fact be his last game in the IPL. So, he had said that this time I'm retiring for good, calling time in my career, no U-turns. He also made it very clear that this time there'd be no U-turns from him and that he was actually calling time on his career for good. And Rayudu, by the way, had this innate belief that they would go on to win the title, because this is something that Deepak Chahar actually revealed about, what Rayudu's mindset was going into the game. Chahar, when he was speaking to the broadcasters after the match, said that he kept telling us that we are going to win the title. The belief that he had was absolutely unbelievable. Now, that's a pretty strong belief to have, because especially when you consider the fact that Rayudu this year hasn't exactly had the best of seasons. In fact, he's been very underwhelming, even by his own standards. And truth be told, it's not been a good year for him. So the fact that he was retiring, it was of course, news that people paid tribute to him, sure, but they also kind of knew that his time had come just a little bit, wasn't exactly at his best, even in 2022. He's really only playing IPL cricket mostly at this point. So it was always going to be a case of when rather than if he called time. But he also came out, and by the way, it was not just belief. He showed that belief with his batting, absolutely taking Mohit Sharma apart. With and mind you, hitting Mohit Sharma's, let's say, those slower balls is not very easy. It's easier said than done tonking a slower ball the way Rayudu was tonking them, and he did so beautifully. And that really was one of the things that turned the tide, because I think Mohit was Gujarat's ace up the sleeve, and the fact that he could take apart Mohit's slow bowling like that, very, very good. And it just shows that what mindset can do, really, because he was with the mindset that we are going to win the final, I believe. So he came out and was batting like he was prime Ambati Rayudu. In fact, Rituraj Gaikwad, after the final, he too was speaking to the broadcasters, and he said that I'd want to dedicate this IPL title win to Ambati Rayudu. Again, someone who, Gaikwad was, of course, coming up in CSK when Rayudu was still very much a top player for the side, of guaranteed first choice, key run getter. So you can see what it means, not just to Rayudu, but also really his teammates, because they were so effusive in their praise for him afterwards. It was pretty clear that, he's someone who's going to be missed in and around the camp for not just, of course, his batting, but even the person Ambati Rayudu would definitely be missed in and around the CSK camp. In fact, Rayudu himself, after the win, was pretty, sedate. He was very happy, of course, but he did say something very massive. He said that I'm going to remember this win for the rest of my life, because after all of the hard work of 30 years, I'm happy that my career has ended on this note. Now, of course, Rayudu is someone who's probably in many ways one of the bigger what-ifs of Indian cricket. He was always someone who had so much potential. Everyone knew it. Didn't quite get to, light up the world stage as most people would have expected. Not always down to his fault. In 2019, most people expected that he would, in fact, be India's key batsman. He wasn't picked. The whole 3D thing happened. He retired from Indian cricket, stuck to only the IPL, played a key part in CSK being a title-winning side. And, well, as he says, he's saying, I was just happy that it could end on this note. And it's good for him as well, really, because, again, he didn't have the best of seasons. He came in, played a key knock in the final, a good cameo, and ended up winning CSK title. And by the way, Rayudu now has 6 IPL titles. He's level with Rohit Sharma. That's just how underratedly good Rayudu as a player has been when it comes to the IPL. That he only played for 2 franchises, MI, CSK, and was a title winner in both of them. Pretty amazing. But of course, another topic of discussion when it comes to CSK was their bowling. And yesterday, truth be told, the bowling did let them down a bit. But we always know that's been a little bit of a weakness when it comes to CSK, because, well, a lot of the young bowlers, let's say, are youngsters, don't quite have the experience of playing at the top level all the time. But their bowling coach, Dwayne Bravo, was pretty effusive in his praise for the bowlers. He's saying that, I'm very happy and very proud to see the way the young bowlers have taken on pressure of playing and bowling in crunch situations, and I've really enjoyed working with all of them. Now, of course, that's one thing. It's, one thing to say that you only have younger bowlers in, of course, your team. It's quite the other to back them and ensure that you keep working on their skills as someone who's a bowler as good in the IPL as Bravo was. And he's saying, I was very happy to see all of them take on that pressure, look to actually bowl in the crunch situations and learn and keep getting better. And again, with the kind of bowling that CSK have right now, as I said, it lacks experience, but there's a lot of youth potential over there. And if they keep working and keep getting better, it's scary to think the kind of bowling lineup that CSK might have, at least for the coming years. Because whilst right now it doesn't look great, they're already developing a new bunch of bowlers. And if they can do that, well, then you're expecting plenty of titles or potentially at least playoff spots in the coming years as well. And that's it from us from this edition of the IPL Special Morning Wrap. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, you can show us your love by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to tap that bell icon, leave us a comment as well. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Don't forget to download the SportsTech app too. And also, if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos that we've done. For now, from my side, goodbye, and we'll see you through the day.